Max wasn't the monster. He was the pawn. And the real evil. She's still out there, waiting. You think the story ended with Max's death? Think again. What the Lost Boys didn't show you, what the movie never dared explain, is that Max wasn't the true puppet master. He was being watched, used, even cursed by something older, something ancient. This is the secret origin of Santa Carla's vampire king and the Black Widow who made him. Max Lawrence, the quiet video store owner, the guy who smiled too wide and moved too slowly. He played the long game. He dated Lucy. He charmed her kids. He passed every vampire test because he'd been invited in. But behind that friendly face was the man who made the Lost Boys. He was the head vampire, the one orchestrating everything from behind the video counter. His goal, not power, but family. He wanted Lucy to become a vampire mother, Michael and Sam as vampire sons, a perfect, eternal family, something he never had in life. But when Granpa drove that truck through the house and killed Max, everything ended. Right? No, that was just the surface layer. Before there was Max, there was Isolde von Kreuzstein, later known only as Widow Johnson. She wasn't born a monster. She was born into wealth in Bavaria, 1721. The daughter of a nobleman obsessed with blood experiments, proto-vampirism, alchemical immortality. But when a famine hit, her family was dragged into the streets by starving mobs and slaughtered. That night, something came to her. The Pale One, a thing older than vampires, who offered her a contract, revenge, in exchange for something darker. She said yes, and so the widow was born, forever mourning, forever feeding. She crossed the ocean under false names. Every century, a new husband, a new victim, a new veil, and eventually, a new pet, Max. Maxwell Lawrence, born 1890 in Boston, failed banker, lonely man. By the 1930s, he had nothing. He drifted west and got swept up in an occult group in San Francisco. They called themselves the Children of the Veiled Mother. At a masquerade ball in 1938, he met her. She wasn't just the center of the room, she was the gravity. And when Max begged for a new life, she gave it to him, but not without a leash. You will build your brood not with power, but with patience. If you fail, your blood is mine. That's why Max was slow, careful, deliberate. He wasn't just building a family. He was trying to prove himself worthy of keeping his soul. By the 1960s, Max moved to Santa Carla, a town the widow had been influencing for decades. They made a deal. Max would run the vampire gang in the open, the Lost Boys. She would run the Deadlight Club, a blood bordello under the cliffs. Together they'd keep Santa Carla in check. The Frog Brothers' parents, failed vampire hunters. They tried to kill the widow, but she twisted their memories, cursed their minds, and left only their kids with a spark of instinct. The whole town was infected. Some just didn't know it yet. But Max got greedy. He wasn't supposed to turn Lucy. She wasn't part of the plan. He broke the widow's rule, tried to make a family without her blessing. That was the final straw. The widow summoned bloodlines older than Max from Europe. Quiet shadows started arriving in Santa Carla, watching, listening. Max panicked. He pushed David and the gang to get reckless, chaos to cover his real move. But someone else was watching too. Grandpa Emerson? Yeah, he wasn't just some weird taxidermy-loving old man. He'd met the widow during World War II, been half-turned, cursed with a sliver of her blood. He came to Santa Carla not to visit, but to monitor. When he realized the widow and Max were targeting his family, something broke inside him. That's why he crashed that truck. He wasn't saving the day. He was cutting the leash. Max was never the real villain. He was a man who made a deal to never be alone again and paid for it with his soul. The real villain, Widow Johnson, is old. The original spider, still alive, still watching. And Santa Carla? That was never Max's town. It was hers. Max didn't create the Lost Boys on his own. He was turned by a much older vampire. The widow, born Isolde von Kreuzstein, made a pact with darkness after her family's death. She turned Max with a condition: build a patient, loyal vampire family, or lose everything. Santa Carla was a carefully managed vampire playground. Max's desire to form his own perfect family broke the truce, leading to his death. Granpa wasn't just a quirky old man. He was part of the widow's web, until he turned against her. The true head vampire has never been killed, and maybe she never will be. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and also watch the next video, as we unfold more dark horrors from across folklore to fiction.